that's one of those situations where it shows comparison can go either way. Like, people don't only want to be better than you or compared in such a way that they feel like they're better than you, but they also like, all right, that happened to you and that was bad. Well, this is what happened to me and it was worse. Like, comparing is one of them things that's totally unnecessary first and foremost. But if you're gonna compare, like, it should be one of those things that you do as a, I can't even really say as a point of reference, because that can become unhealthy too. But like, shouldn't be one of those things that gets to a point where it's unhealthy for you, where you're trying to pursue somebody else's status in life, or even trying to pursue somebody else's misery, which I didn't think was possible until recently. But like, that's something you got to think about when you start comparing yourself to people that, especially in the social media age, that's either highlighting all the best things in their lives or are on social media with all the worst things in their lives, because that seems to be the only two types of people on social media, except for the oddballs that just share random shit. That's me right there. I'm just gonna post whatever the fuck I feel like at the time. But I mean, like, you kind of gotta be, you really gotta be careful with that, because one, misery loves company, and two, everybody's a highlight reel, and you would think your life is miserable if you're comparing your life to other people's lives. Yeah.
And the 24/7 nature of digital media is making it so that it's like a, online show and tell.
Yeah.
And you either have those narcissists. I mean, they're probably all narcissists on both sides. Narcissists who want to bring attention to, oh, look at me on another flight, to another exotic destination.
Yeah.
Never show you. They don't talk about where they live at, where they sleep, where they work at. They're just showing you, oh, I'm on the flight.
Yeah.
Or you have those who are, woe is me, I can't find a good man or good woman. My relationship is miserable. What is it? I give everyone all I got, and I get nothing in return. That's another form of narcissism.
Yeah.
And you have all that all over social media, and as someone who just wants to, live their life and use social media for what it's intended to be, just an engagement tool, you have to weed through the people who want all the attention.
Yeah. And I mean, you bring up a good point there, and I was really just having this debate, both on an academic level and kind of a work level. Like, the way social media is set up, comparison is super unhealthy due to not only what it does to personalities, but because of the algorithms that are used on social media. I mean, prime example, and this was the context of the conversation. Like, let's say you are a fairly liberal person, and you Google a couple of liberal articles or sites or things. After a while, the algorithm knows that, and everything is going to suggest and populate into your searches, whether there's other stuff out there or not. It's going to all be tailored to your view. If you start comparing yourself to people and you search, and I mean, people can see this already on Instagram and Facebook. You search certain people, you look at certain profiles, you look at certain hashtags, your searches, your suggestions, your things you may like, your people you may know, is all tailored around the habits that you already have on social media. Which, if you already got a bad habit of comparison, social media and the internet is going to throw in your face all the stuff that you compare yourself to habitually. Every time you pick up your phone and go on social media, it's going to come up. And when that happens, you're not going to be able to get away from it. So, like, if you thought your life was bad at one point because you were comparing to one person, after a while your life really gonna seem bad, because social media and Facebook is gonna take everybody that fits the profile or the algorithm of what you search and throw it in your face on a huge level to where you're not gonna be able to escape it. I mean, there's gonna be advertising, like, you search certain things, you want a certain car, they're gonna show you every car that you want to buy, every watch that you want to own, every place that you want to shop at. And it's all going to start by you wanting or desiring something or comparing yourself to something that is honestly unrealistic. And then you done built a truly unhealthy habit, and it's going to be harder to break because now the internet is reinforcing that habit.
Yeah. It's playing into your insecurities and vulnerabilities commercially.
Yep.
And when you go into social media, and back to the point about Cardi and Nicki, those two women all things being equal, why would anybody compare them to each other? Nikki grew up through the the freestyle battle circuit, and then sharpened her teeth rapping. Cardi took a different route. There's no reason for people to compare these two women.
Yeah.
But is that just a trait of human nature where we have to create a way to compare people? We look at it everywhere. Michael Jordan and LeBron and Kobe. Tupac and Biggie. Everywhere you go, presidents. Obama versus Trump. Why do we have that need to compare things? Is it because we need to create order? We need a hierarchy.
Yeah.
And it leads to some unhealthy consequences because you start to rip apart a person by default because you need to find criteria to make one person superior over the other.
Yeah.
And does that set up your mentality for future heartbreak and disappointments because you're looking for ways to tear people apart? Even in relationships, you're comparing people you talk to now to people you talked to previously. In the future, if you start conditioning your mind to look at ways to tear someone down, are you really prepared to accept someone when they're in your face and being human?
Yeah, I think people do that too, just because everybody's looking for a reference point, which is also unhealthy. And I mean, you highlighted it when you were talking about how people compare even Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Most of the time, the reference points they're using are not related. Mm-hmm. Not only because skills may be different, how things are done may be different, styles may be different, upbringing may be different, mindsets probably different. And you take two things that might be in this case the same genre and compare them because you think they should be compared, which really the only two reference point they're being compared off of, they're both females and they're both rappers.
Yeah. Is the environment too small? Because no one's comparing Lil Uzi Vert to Famous Dex or Rich the Kid.
Yeah, exactly. So it's and that's too, the media has fed into it. Some people just like to create controversy where controversy don't exist. Because before, honestly, I feel like the media largely created this one. Because before I heard, radio stations and blogs and everything talking about it, I never recall there actually being anything said or there being anything to perpetuate a beef between Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. And originally, even when I started reading stuff about it, it was a comparison that had nothing to do with anything that either one of them said. And then it built over time, and everybody gets sucked into it. I mean, another famous one that you also just brought up, people hear the comparison of LeBron and Jordan all the time.
All the time.
At some point, I mean, both of them have been asked about it and commented on it, and it wasn't because either one of them brought it up first. It because it was perpetuated over and over and over again on every sports channel there is, to the point where the media did it so much we started doing it.
Yep.
We had nothing to do with it. The media told us it was a comparison worth making, so we made that comparison. Before that, it wasn't a big deal. And usually once the media do something for so long and it's in your face for so long, everybody buy into the fact that we feel that's a comparison to be made because, every news channel and every blog and everything else is saying there's a comparison to be made. On what planet is it even reasonable to compare Obama and Trump? Besides the fact, your only reference point is that they were both presidents.
That's it.
They couldn't be further apart than that.
Exactly.
It couldn't be backgrounds ever further apart than that. And it's
no, Reggie, no one how many times were first ladies compared?
Yeah.
Before Michelle and Melania.
Yeah.
It wasn't happening. No one's saying Michelle was this different than Barbara Bush. Nobody gave a shit.
Nobody cared.
Now all of a sudden, maybe you see it more with women.
That's probably true too.
And maybe that speaks to a bigger question about our society where we're always trying to put women against each other. And there's no real good reason to do so.
Nah. No. Well, you know what too? And I even hate to say it because in our society that's probably more true than we'd like to admit, and which does speak to a much larger issue in the society that we live in. But on top of that, I feel like when that happens, women feed into it too. Because I mean, realistically, even when we talking just rap alone, like you really don't hear a lot of males contributing or talking about female rappers until they trying to create a beef. Like somewhere in the drama, somebody said, I can't remember who it was, but it was like, even if somebody ghost wrote Cardi B's album, they still want to listen to Nicki Minaj. Okay, great. What the fuck ever? Like, like if you don't like Nicki, you just don't like Nicki. That's really what you're saying. You're not saying anything about what type of artist she is. You're saying that you don't want to listen to Nicki Minaj
because you like Cardi B so much.
Exactly. And what's funny about that, it's just like we highlighted at the beginning of this episode. Like, Cardi B's album, this project is legit, much more legit than I expected. Mm-hmm. But lyrically, would I compare it to a Nicki Minaj album? No, because honestly, playing them, if I were to play their songs back to back, I'm gonna feel like I'm listening to two different albums. Yeah, like I'm gonna feel like I'm listening to, which I mean, yes, I am, but I'm gonna feel like I'm listening to, like I feel like I'll be comparing, and this might be a little drastic, but I feel like I'm comparing like a Kendrick Lamar to a I don't even know, like a Young Dro or something, like something that couldn't be further. Like I like that comparison honestly because I like South music. I like Dro. I like his delivery and I like his style coming out of the South because I am from the South. But Kendrick Lamar,
different level lyrically.
Exactly, different level lyrically, different type of rap,
different expectations.
Exactly,
too.
Different type of delivery, and it would be idiotic of me to compare the two. One, because yes, they are both legit, but two, because they couldn't be more different, couldn't have come from further apart backgrounds. Like, why would I compare the two when I know it's and people never do that when it comes to male? Well, I mean they do that when it's similar, like Jay-Z and Nas and people like that, but that's somewhat similar. People never do that so much in rap when it's two males and their styles are completely different.
So maybe it's a case that maybe Nicki's is being held to a higher standard for herself.
You know what? I feel like too they probably tried to like goat her into a beef that that she probably wasn't even concerned about before then. Like,
but now she is. You know the problem it's like schoolyard stuff.
Yeah.
You start instigating a fight between two people who have no issues just because you want to see a fight. Eventually, the two people are gonna be like, "Oh, for real?"
Yeah.
Because they're just tired of hearing the same shit over and over again, and they want to end it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what we're looking at right now, which in rap terms, it makes a really interesting time.
Yeah.
Because these two tracks that Nicki just dropped,
she ain't playing.
After being quiet, she's coming ready to play, and she's gonna have a project coming. I believe she has a project coming out. Listen to Joe Budden podcast all the time. He raised a good point. They got to have a project ready to roll.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what else would explain this rollout?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? On top of that too, like, not only did she not come to play, like, even if we took Cardi B out of the situation, which even in listening to those songs, you really can't. But let's just say we did. Mm-hmm. Nicki didn't show up playing. Like, Nicki came back vicious as vicious gonna get. I mean, like,
bars on top of
like she really came back. And for those that know me, like, I was never like I listened to Nicki Minaj, but I wasn't a huge Nicki Minaj fan back in the day when she, it was a lot of. I just felt like to me like it was a lot more animated, a lot more yell rap. Now it's just strictly bars. Like she is. It's not an entertainment game alone anymore. Like Nicki is really coming and being like, look, I'm tired of y'all. like I don't see why y'all comparing me to people. I am Nicki Minaj.
Stop playing me right now.
Stop playing me right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, like Nicki Minaj she's vicious right now. Like she's unapologetic with how vicious she is on these tracks. And this is 2 tracks, so she got a whole project coming.
Forget it.
This could be a bad day.
Fun summer though for us.
My God, it could be. Man, it's gonna be.
And we all have those times when just like, not today. I've had enough of this bull.